Welcome back. It's time to take out your green Grace in Action Handbook. Today we're going to work on section 3.5, Jesus wants us to follow him. I know this isn't the best time, but you haven't exactly been the best example tonight. Stop following me. We would follow you anywhere, Professor. You had so much respect from all of us. And now you're throwing it all away. No, stop! I slipped! Maria! Hold on, Leah. I'm coming. Let's start here. Play a game of follow the leader with a sibling or friend. Walk around the house or outside with your parents' permission and follow exactly what the leader is doing. In the space in your handbook, write what happened and if it was hard to follow exactly. What did you learn about that person by following his or her actions? What makes you want to follow someone's actions or example? What makes a person a good example? An example is a pattern or model that can be imitated. The most important person we should try to imitate is Jesus. He is the perfect example of how to love others. Ask a parent or guardian, have you ever learned something by following someone else's example? What did you learn? Was it difficult? Write down what he or she learned. Jesus Christ showed us love, forgiveness, and grace when we didn't deserve it. He continues to treat us with grace. We should follow his example by showing love, forgiveness, and grace to others. Look up and read your memory verse, 1 John 2:6 in your Bible. Whoever says he abides in him ought to walk in the same way in which he walked. How does this verse say we should walk or live if we abide in Jesus? We should walk or live like Jesus did. If your math teacher wants you to solve some hard multiplication problems, she will solve one for you first to show you how to do them. She's giving you an example. If you see somebody being kind to another person, you have an example of being kind. The Bible gives us the best example we can have by telling us what Jesus did, thought, and said. Look up and read Matthew 8:1-3 in your Bible. When he came down from the mountain, great crowds followed him. And behold, a leper came to him and knelt before him, saying, Lord, if you will, you can make me clean. And Jesus stretched out his hand and touched him, saying, I will, be clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. What did the leper who came to Jesus need? He needed to be healed from his leprosy. What did Jesus say and do? Jesus touched him, spoke to him, and healed him. Jesus wasn't afraid to talk to or touch this man who was sick. Look up and read Matthew 14:15-21 in your Bible. Now when it was evening, the disciples came to him and said, This is a desolate place, and the day is now over. Send the crowds away to go into the villages and buy food for themselves. But Jesus said, They need not go away. You give them something to eat. They said to him, We have only 5 loaves here and 2 fish. And he said, Bring them here to me. Then he ordered the crowds to sit down on the grass, and taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven and said a blessing. Then he broke the loaves and gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the crowds. And they all ate and were satisfied. And they took up 12 baskets full of the broken pieces left over. And those who ate were about 5,000 men, besides women and children. What did the people in the crowd need? They needed something to eat. What did Jesus do for the people? He fed them. Jesus saw that the people were hungry, and he fed them. Look up and read 1 John 4:19 in your Bible. We love because he first loved us. We should love others because Jesus loved us. Jesus wasn't afraid to go near people who were sick or outcasts or sinners. He not only got near to them, he touched them, talked with them, and healed them. We don't have the power to heal people or perform miracles like Jesus, but we can love people like Jesus did. We can get to know people who are loners. We could help people when they are sick or hurt. We can give people a meal when they are hungry. We can choose to be aware of the people around us and what they need. We can choose to not be afraid of people who are different from us and people we don't understand. We can choose to follow Jesus' example and live like he lived. Think about it. Think about Jesus' love. How is it different from the love of most people? How can we follow Jesus' example? Why should we try to do that? Let's say our Bible verses together. 1 John 2:6. Whoever says he abides in him ought to walk in the same way in which he walked. Let's say that again. 1 John 2:6. Whoever says he abides in him ought to walk in the same way in which he walked. Now let's say our review verse. Romans 6:9. We know that Christ, being raised from the dead, will never die again. Death no longer has dominion over him. That was close. Something isn't right about all this. You mean about me plummeting to my doom? No. I mean, why would he be protecting the power cells if he's trying to ruin the city? I don't know. He has an evil lab somewhere with a giant robot or something. No, something is telling me. There he is. He's getting away again. Okay, so if you have finished all 4 sections of your handbook along with me and said your Bible verses, have your grown-up helpers sign your handbook and don't forget to complete your weekly check-in. I'll see you next week.